Building Boyle Heights intersections at Matthews Park. More than almost any other Los Angeles neighborhood, Boyle Heights is known for intersections of streets, freeways, memories, and cultural history. Matthews Park, nestled on Matthews Avenue between Avenida Cesar Chavez and East First Street, is a new pocket park that holds a deep repository preserving this history. The park celebrates Boyle Heights' reputation as the most multi-ethnic and multi-faith Los Angeles neighborhood. Matthews Park is a veritable index of Boyle Heights' past, present, and future. Dozens of elements fused together over the park's 1.9 acres, including ceramic art tiles, polished stone, granite, travertine, brass, and powdered coated aluminum. These sites are each featured, equipped with digital audio sharing oral history, accessed from QR codes.
Tomasan is the only remaining Japanese restaurant in Boyle Heights. Decades ago, the now heavily Latino neighborhood was home to a large Japanese population, partly due to its proximity to Little Tokyo, and there are still traces of that community that remains. Founded in 1956, the restaurant can still be found at its original location on East First Street, 2 blocks east of Soto. 68 years later, the warm mojo of the small dining area radiates the Japanese tradition of Boyle Heights and calls you back for another tasty plate. This is a story of family food and neighborhood.
And those were kind of the main cemeteries until the late 1870s, when Evergreen was established as really the first corporate cemetery. And they placed it at the very eastern end of city limits. So Indiana on the east would be the end of the city, and that's where they put the cemetery out here. It was considered to be far enough away where it wouldn't probably be intruded upon by development for a long time. It really primarily is a place for Anglos to be buried in Los Angeles. But as the area had diversified ethnically, you started to see a whole different mix of people. And that's Boyle Heights represented that with Japanese, Jewish, Black, Mexicans, and Latinos. So there's a lot of interesting history here.
And Esteban in 1835 officially became the owner of a good parcel of land on what is now Boyle Avenue. And at that time it was called Lopez Avenue, and it overlooked the city. It's on the bluffs. He had given several of his children parcels of land. Great-grandparents built the hotel during this boom of the 1880s. And there has been a Mexican presence right along with other ethnicities.
As these communities flourished, mariachi music, a beloved tradition in Mexico, found a new home in this vibrant and culturally diverse neighborhood.
Los Angeles, two mariachis, for example, this was probably the first place where women were allowed to be part of the mariachis.
Hollenbeck Park is a real jewel and centerpiece of this community. It has been since it was started back in the 1890s.
It quickly became a cherished haven for the rapidly growing and diverse communities of Los Angeles.
And of course, we have airplane noise, we have freeway noise, but we also have the fountains, the people playing music, trumpet, guitar, kids playing. So you really get an interesting sense of the urban life in a place like this.
During its heyday, though, the Breeze Street Shul was the largest of the synagogues, and it was known as the Queen of the Shuls because of its beautiful architecture. This was the most beautiful synagogue that working class people could build. Unlike many other parts of Los Angeles and environs, Boyle Heights did not have restrictive covenants. Jews, Asians, Blacks, Mexicans, Malcan Russians, Armenians, all of the various ethnic groups, they were excluded from living in other parts of the city. But Boyle Heights didn't have those restrictions. And as a result, various immigrant communities began to live here. And as they began to live here, including the Jewish community, when folks were coming from other places and moving to Los Angeles, they wanted to find people that they had something in common with, that they had language, that they had culture, that they had traditions,